Hey guys, this here's Getaway Driver 101. Today I'm going to be explaining to you how to set a firewall up around Discord and how to protect your applications and functionalities within Windows if you have a misbehaving application but Windows is running like it should be, or like I say, like it should be. As you can see, CPU usage is not very high. Memory is because they have a lot of applications running. You know, everything seems to be running good. Haven't had no issues, blah blah. This is pretty interesting. So OBS is going from, it's got GPU spike and then GPU 1. Interesting. Sorry. You're gonna go to your, let's say your Discord is open. You're gonna immediately close it down. So you're gonna go over here and you're gonna hit quit. Now I'm gonna wait for mine to launch, and now I'm gonna hit quit. So now that mine is closed down, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to set a firewall around the application and the reasons why you may need to do this. You've been connected to very servers for a long time and you have more than, let's say, 10 servers. Probably should look at a few of them and make sure they ain't your culprits that are causing stability issues with your computer, or maybe causing you to get booted offline whenever you join the Discord. And not specifically the server that you're joining, specifically whenever you boot up Discord. So if you're booting up the application, and when it boots up, your internet goes boot and says you no longer have an internet connection or no longer have a network connection, which I'm running internet. I was having the issue where when I would boot the application up, the application would literally disconnect me from it. I reinstalled my Wi-Fi drivers, I reinstalled my NVIDIA drivers to make sure it wasn't that, and then, I cleaned everything else up in the computer. Cleaned up all the registries and everything else, used a few tools to do that. Some of those tools are kind of advanced. So everything came up normal after everything was cleaned up. Computer's been running fine, had no issues. Well, all of a sudden Discord started getting to where it was kicking me out whenever I would load the application up. So I went in and did some looking at it, and I was getting 27 pings from the Discord server after it was booted up and I joined a server. So as soon as I joined a server, 10 seconds would go by, I would get 27 pings, get kicked out. And at first I was like, okay, well this is weird. It must be just a server issue. Join a different server. Same thing. So if you're experiencing that, you may have to do, first clean up your whole computer, make sure there's no malware, no infections, things like that. Once everything's done, make sure your internet works like it should, make sure it's not your network. Your network is working like it should, and your downloads are good, your uploads are good. Your videos from YouTube play at 4 or 6K quality, have no buffer. Everything comes through as intended until you boot that application. If that's how it's being, then you more than likely have a misbehaving application. Which that happened with me with Need for Speed, because Need for Speed kept getting flagged that it was having arbitrary binary. So the way that you fix this, okay, is first things first with Discord. Let me explain what this is here. And how do you put Discord here? You're gonna hit add by program name. Now, let's say you're like, oh, well, I have Discord over here, how do I put it over here? Discord, and the computer be like, oh, well, you can't hit add, right? Right, because you're gonna put .exe afterwards to hit add. So something to know, a lot of people don't realize that, is that when you're doing an EXD adjustment, you have to put EXD after it. If it's a game, you may have to copy and paste it. So that's something else to know, and then put EXD after it. So what you're going to do, once you have Discord here, you're going to hit edit. You're going to go into block remote imaging. Now what this means is that it's not going to mess with your share screen, your view screen, none of that. It's not even going to mess with downloading anything from Discord. What it's going to do is it's going to basically say, hey, you just sent me an image. So what it's going to do is when an image is sent to you on Discord, the computer is going to make sure that there's not a remote connection to it or a remote connection to the device, or the image is coming from an image and not a image slash URL slash website slash .com. You know, something like that. Those are what you get infected by too. It's not as common anymore, but it happened more back in the day in like 2010, 2012, where you had images on Google and people would try to pull images from Google and download them to their computers or their cell phones, and it would usually destroy the computer. So that's what this is for. You're going to turn that on, but leave audit off. Control guards, leave that off. Leave that one alone. If you turn that on, your application will not run. It will tell you that your application is running too many cells or instances where its integrity may be vulnerable. So don't mess with that. What that means is it's basically a cell checker. It's for the control guards and stuff. Basically more of a cardinal aspect, so don't mess with that. This here is a prevention of DEP, which is basically malice code trying to run within memory, or pages of memory, or data only memory, any form of memory basically execution. Turn that on. Block images, override on, audit off. Enable ATP off. On. Do not allow child processes. Override system setting / off. Now, the reason why I'm leaving this off but leaving that on is because that leaves it on basically like an automatic one. Basically, it's going to say, hey, you're not allowed to do child processes, but I'm off, so if you do them, keep them at a minimal state. And so if the computer is like, hey, you have too many child processes on auto, you're now at like 20 processes, you need to cut back. It's going to automatically do that. That's what this on-off point is it's a enforced override. So if you do too many enforcements, your application will not work anymore, and your application will quit working. So as you scroll down towards the bottom, you're going to turn validate API cell check. Turn that on. In fact, I'm going to flip this on because I want to see if I can have that on. And then Discord boots up. So yes, the API on, override system settings on, override system settings on. Now what that is doing is it's overriding Discord system settings or chain dispatch or legitimacy cells. So it's basically telling it that it has to validate, it has to prove its legitimacy, or it does not get to run. So anytime Discord has a vulnerable state, it won't let it run. It will basically say, hey, this is not safe to run. So, and in doing so, what I just did, so you can see I close it down. This will integralize the application. Now, the only time you should ever do any of this is if you are dealing with a disconnection issue. A issue where the application is not working as intended with the computer because the computer may have too high of security, or your security is not good enough. So it could be both ends of the stick. Since I use Malwarebytes, I already know my security is over aggressive. It's very zealous and very angry, which means that occasionally my computer will argue with applications even if they are legit, which I'm fine with that. I would rather have an antivirus that will give an application a thumbs down even if it's legitimate and ask me as the user, hey, this application got a thumbs down, Are you still using it? Do you care for it? If you do, do you want to keep it, or should we delete it? And then that's where you make your decision. Hitman Pro is good for making sure you have no infected extensions. So just note to self, if you need to check your browser without physically trying to mess with browser, let's use Hitman Pro. You can run the free version. In fact, I can show it right now. I believe y'all saw it run whenever the video first booted up. Where it was running. So you download the free version, go to your settings, all this is set. There is set scan to run scheduled scans on recommended, turn that off. So it doesn't run every time your computer boots up. And then when you start it, you're going to hit yes, you're going to hit next, next, and it's going to start scanning. Easy peasy. So I hope that helped y'all. Thanks for watching. Like or subscribe, and I will see y'all next time.